We're talking about cybersecurity and 5G today. So, first of all, we have news this morning that Microsoft has chosen Northern Ireland as its location for a new cybersecurity centre. 85 new jobs will be created as part of that move. So that announcement today. We're also expecting an announcement, or a decision at least, from the Prime Minister Boris Johnson on whether or not to allow Huawei to run the UK's 5G networks. Now, this has been quite controversial. There's been pressure from the US not to allow Huawei to run the network over concerns to do with China and security. And up in Foyle with you this morning is Professor Kevin Curran from Ulster University. Good morning, Professor Curran. I suppose the first thing to say is 5G, it is going to revolutionise, how we operate our phones and in the tech and health sector. But this Huawei decision is proving controversial.
It is indeed, and it of course, it comes in a backdrop of geopolitics, where the United States are trying to force the UK's hand, saying that the Chinese company poses a risk if it is to be the main provider of 5G, because that they can snoop on maybe future network transmissions, and also maybe at some stage pull the switch on the thing here. But of course, Huawei have been supplying 4G, 5G for the last 15 years to the UK. Of course, they've got the most patents in 5G. They lead in this technology. And of course, that there actually is a Huawei National Cybersecurity Evaluation Centre in Banbury. And for the last 10 years, the UK government and the National Cybersecurity Centre have been evaluating the code, the actual source code of the telecommunication software. And to date, no smoking gun has been found.
And part of the issue here is because Huawei already operates some of the existing 4G and other networks, if the government did decide, look, we're not going to allow you to operate, it's going to be very costly to strip out that technology and rebuild. Would that be fair to say?
Absolutely. The 5G builds on the 4G network, really. And if there was a ruling made that Huawei were not allowed to have any part of the core, especially of the 5G rollout, then what we would have, we would go backwards in our telecommunications capabilities here in the UK, and it would cost, and of course that would be the cost to the operators again, the BTs of this world and all the others, Vodafones. The cost would be put back onto the consumer again, because you just cannot simply eradicate them from the 5G and then leave them with the 4G if you have worries about this. So it really would be a very detrimental step for all our communications in the UK.
Yeah. And 5G is really needed for economic development because other countries will be pushing ahead.
It does. It has a GDP of any economy. You have kind of much better remote control of machines and manufacturing and healthcare, and just in what we do. And again, businesses can operate again, and also on the go, because it's become the internet has become the center of our lives, really. Everything we do is conducted over the businesses that we do. And if we have an inferior network in the UK, we will just fall away, and companies will just simply stop to come here as well.
All right, Professor Kevin Curran of Ulster University, thanks for joining us this morning. And as I say, the UK government expected to decide today at some point whether or not to ban equipment made by the Chinese technology giant Huawei from its 5G networks.
All right, Richard, thank you very much. Still to